Clarkston decided that instead of worrying about it, they were going to do something about it.
We're all stressed out about it, and I'm trying to do everything that I can to make sure that my child is safe. Just the thought that there are families who don't even have that ability to do that most basic of things, which is just keeping your family safe. That's just heartbreaking.
Susan Cooper is working with a group of women to make sure the students in the Clarkston cluster in DeKalb County schools have the masks they need to be safe this year.
It's about 6,100 students, and we went to outfit them with a back-to-school pack of 3 masks.
That's more than 18,000 masks. It's an ambitious goal, but Cooper says they've been overwhelmed by support from the community to make it happen. The Clarkston cluster are all Title I schools, and 100% of the kids who go there participate in the free lunch program. Many parents work in North Georgia poultry plants where there have been outbreaks of COVID-19. Cooper says the masks are necessary, but can be expensive.
We're seeing these great masks that people are posting that are great for children and are like $13 and $15.
She hopes this mask drive can alleviate at least some of the anxiety parents are feeling before their kids go back to school.
You're not going to have a successful year if everybody's just stressed out all year about being sick and whether or not their safety is in jeopardy.
DeKalb County schools haven't even decided what it's going to look like when kids come back.
Officers out and visible. Also asking people to please avoid large gatherings. One, for COVID especially, but secondly, we are seeing a number of these shootings happening where people are gathered in large groups. And what's very different about this crime spree that we're seeing in our city, we are seeing multiple shooters, which is pretty extraordinary. So we're just asking people to be aware of your surroundings. And if a situation or an area feels volatile, to please remove yourself. And we're going to continue to do what we need to do with our officers and making sure that they are patrolling areas throughout the city. But this is a very challenging time, not just in Atlanta, but across the country right now.
We have more from the mayor coming up, but for some, recovery still feels a long way off, and they say they are struggling to get the support that they need. Latasha Gibbons spoke with someone who's been waiting for weeks for an unemployment check.
I tried to borrow money from family and friends and, just postpone things, rent, utilities, cell phone.
Anthony White says he's been waiting for an unemployment check for 15 weeks now. His 11-year-old daughter, Anila, is spending extra time with a relative out of state to help ease some of the financial strain.
It's difficult to not be able to tell your daughter you can't do certain things.
As of this week, the Georgia Department of Labor reports paying out 91% of eligible claims, but we keep hearing from the remaining 9%. DOL spokesperson Kershaw Cartwright says it takes about 4 to 5 weeks to process a claim through the automated system, but there are 4 main factors for why your claim may take longer. First, incomplete applications. If you make an error or don't properly answer a question in the automated system, a DOL team member has to manually review the application, which takes longer and could instantly put you outside of the 4 to 5 week window. The second holdup, applications that are the result of termination.
Particularly these claims that where an individual has quit or they've been.
The beginning of this downward trajectory the president's in with the injection of bleach. And from that moment on, he just has not been able to get out of his own way. And to tell you, I think going down this road on schools, this feels like somebody who's still playing with matches near a gasoline tank. I tell you, school politics is rough enough. Go to a school board meeting and any school board meeting in the country, and you will see how rough and tumble that politics. Now we're going to throw the prism of presidential politics in it, where the debate about reopening and how to reopening comes back. I'll tell you this, I'm hoping that Congress becomes the cooling saucer here, and that when they get back to Washington, because you know how you can answer this school debate? Money. Now, ultimately, everybody wants to figure out how to reopen the schools in some form, because I think everybody realizes, particularly for younger kids, you cannot let them slip behind like this. Well, where are they going to get that extra money at a time when every state budget is contracting right now? Well, I know one place you can get the money. It's the feds. Are they going to give it?
One of the things that has been very interesting here over the last 24 hours has been Keisha Lance Bottoms, the mayor of Atlanta, and Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, at odds over the issue of the mask. The history, the tradition in Atlanta and Georgia, despite economic differences, regional differences, if you will, racial differences, there has been a certain sinking of the mayor and the governor here in the state and the city, going back to Maynard Jackson's first term so many years ago. We've never seen that before here, and I think that is greatly troubling for everybody who lives in the state and the city, no matter what your politics are.
Well, look, and I'm not an Atlantan, but my observation on one of the reasons, the powerful Atlanta business community has always been the great healer, right. And it is and I wonder if they're the missing piece here. And in these polarizing times, I've watched a lot of business leaders retreat into a cocoon, right? They've got their own, in some cases, some of these companies are dealing with their own social justice issues that they've got to deal with. Perhaps they don't have, whether it's on staffing and leadership positions, things like that. That, to me, again, I'm coming at this as an outsider, but that seems to be the missing piece on this debate.
How about 2 Georgia Senate seats? Obviously, U.S. Senate seats up for grabs in November, and Senator Kelly Loeffler weighed in on the Black Lives Matter issue in the WNBA, and she got hit by opponents on both sides. How would you sum up her view of all of this and what it means as November approaches for her?
Well, look, she's in this weird spot, she and Doug Collins, and that they are running simultaneously a primary campaign and a general election campaign. We know ultimately it's going to be a runoff that is going to decide who the actual U.S. Senator is here. And obviously, she's got to worry about Congressman Doug Collins. So it certainly looked, from my perspective, it looked like, okay, she's a WNBA owner. She's worried about culture war politics with Doug Collins.
A screenshot of a Facebook post of a tweet, supposedly from Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. In it, she allegedly writes, quote, "It's vital that governors maintain restrictions on businesses until after the November election because economic recovery will help Trump get reelected." The tweet is timestamped at 1:09 p.m., May 20th, 2020. Now, we started by reaching out to the Congresswoman's office, and a spokesperson told us that no, AOC did not write this. In fact, the Congresswoman took to Twitter to address the rumor, writing, quote, "I usually don't tweet to correct fake posts about me, but needless to say, the alleged deleted reopening tweet people are saying I wrote is a photoshopped fake." But we don't have to take her word for it. Our verified researchers used a website called the Internet Archive Wayback Machine. On their website, they say they're building a digital library. It captures snapshots of websites on a regular basis. We looked at all the screen grabs from both May 20th and May 21st, but we could not find the alleged tweet. Next, we looked at a database run by ProPublica, which tracks deleted tweets from public figures. We looked at the deleted tweets from both her personal and professional Twitter pages, but we cannot find any mention of this alleged post. So we can verify our researchers found no evidence that AOC actually wrote and deleted this tweet.
They were even running this drive-in the rain last night. I found that funny.